There's something strange about intelligence that most people never notice in others. It does not always show up in grades, degrees, or fancy vocabulary at all. It shows up in tiny daily habits that quietly reveal how a mind actually works. Psychology suggests that low intelligence rarely announces itself through one obvious dramatic moment. Instead, it leaks out slowly through small behaviors people repeat without ever questioning them. By the end of this, you will spot 7 subtle habits that reveal a sharper truth. You will also understand why these patterns happen and what they secretly say about someone. Some of these habits might feel familiar, and that is completely fine, not shameful. Awareness is the first quiet sign that your mind is already moving towards something stronger. The first habit is reacting emotionally before even trying to understand the actual situation. You say something neutral, and they instantly feel attacked, defensive, offended, or strangely cornered. Their nervous system fires faster than their thinking, so emotion arrives long before logic does. Psychologists call this low cognitive control, and it quietly limits how clearly someone can think. Sharper minds pause, breathe, and ask questions before letting feelings decide the entire conversation. Slower minds react, interrupt, and defend themselves before they have even understood the real point. If you notice this in yourself, it does not mean you are broken or hopeless. It simply means your reactions are running ahead of your reasoning, and that can be retrained. The second habit is needing to be right in every small, unimportant, forgettable conversation. They cannot let a tiny detail go, even when the topic does not really matter. They turn casual chats into debates because being wrong feels like a personal threat to them. Psychology reveals that this is rarely about facts and almost always about fragile self-worth underneath. A secure mind can say, "You might be right," without feeling smaller or weaker afterward. An insecure mind treats every disagreement like a quiet attack on their identity and intelligence. This is why some people argue loudly about things they barely even understand or researched. They are not protecting truth. They are protecting the image they have built of themselves. The third habit is mocking what they do not understand, instead of quietly trying to learn. Someone mentions a new idea, a deep topic, or an unfamiliar word in conversation. Instead of curiosity, they roll their eyes, laugh, or call it boring, weird, or useless. Mockery is often a defense mechanism that hides the discomfort of feeling mentally exposed inside. Sharper minds lean in when they do not understand something. Slower minds push it away fast. Curiosity is one of the strongest signs of real intelligence, and it grows the more you use it. If something confuses you, that is not weakness. That is your mind asking for more depth. The fourth habit is constantly seeking validation to phones, screens, likes, comments, and reactions. You have seen it. Someone checks their phone every few minutes, even when nothing is happening. They post, refresh, and wait, secretly hoping the numbers will tell them they matter today. Psychology shows that constant validation seeking is linked to weaker self-awareness and lower emotional regulation. The mind becomes trained to depend on outside approval instead of building stable inner judgment. Over time, this habit shrinks attention, weakens patience, and makes deep thinking feel almost impossible. It is not that they are addicted to phones. They are addicted to feeling temporarily seen. A sharper mind can sit alone, uncelebrated, unwatched, and still feel grounded in its own value. The fifth habit is blaming everyone else for problems they secretly created or quietly allowed themselves. Nothing is ever their fault. The boss, the partner, the traffic, the weather, the world. Psychology calls this an external locus of control, and it quietly blocks personal growth completely. When you blame everything outside, you also hand away your power to change anything inside. Sharper minds ask, what part of this did I create, allow, or fail to handle? That single honest question separates people who grow from people who stay stuck for decades. This does not mean blaming yourself for everything. That is just the same trap in reverse. It means owning your share with calm honesty instead of hiding behind excuses every single time. The sixth habit is talking far more than they listen, especially when emotions are running high. They interrupt, finish your sentences, and rush to respond before truly hearing what you actually said. Listening requires patience, and patience requires a mind that does not feel constantly threatened inside itself. Psychologists have noticed that poor listeners often have lower empathy and weaker ability to process complex information. They are not rude on purpose. Their inner noise is simply louder than your outer voice. A sharper mind listens to understand. A slower mind listens only to prepare its next reply. If you slow down and truly hear someone, you will start noticing things others completely miss. That alone can quietly raise how intelligent, observant, and emotionally aware you appear to everyone around. The seventh habit is repeating the same mistakes while expecting completely different results each time. They date the same kind of person, they take the same kind of job, they argue the same way. Then they wonder why life keeps handing them the same painful lesson over and over again. Psychology suggests that low self-awareness keeps people stuck inside loops they cannot even see clearly. The pattern feels invisible to them because they are too close to it to notice anything. Sharper minds zoom out and ask, where have I felt this exact feeling before in life? That single question can reveal a hidden loop that has secretly shaped years of their decisions. Breaking the loop does not require genius. It requires honesty, reflection, and the courage to change. Now here is something important you should hear before you judge yourself too harshly right now. Noticing these habits in yourself does not mean you have low intelligence or a broken mind. It actually means the opposite. Self-awareness is one of the strongest signs of real mental growth. People with truly low awareness rarely question themselves. They assume they are already fine, smart, and right. The fact that you are even thinking about this puts you ahead of most people already. Intelligence is not a fixed score stamped on your forehead the day you were born somewhere. It is a living thing that grows every time you choose reflection over reaction in life. Every time you pause before reacting, you are building stronger cognitive control inside your nervous system. Every time you admit you are wrong, you are training your mind to value truth over ego. Every time you stay curious instead of mocking, you are quietly expanding how your brain processes ideas. Every time you sit with yourself without needing validation, you are strengthening real, stable inner confidence. Every time you take honest responsibility, you are reclaiming the power most people give away forever. Every time you listen deeply, you are sharpening empathy, patience, and pattern recognition all at once. Every time you break a repeating loop, you are proving that your future is not stuck. Here's a small practical shift you can start using today, quietly, without telling anyone around you. Before reacting to anything that triggers you, pause and silently ask, what is actually happening here? That tiny pause creates space between the trigger and your response, and inside that space lives intelligence. Most low IQ habits are not about thinking ability, they are about reacting before thinking even begins. Slow down by one breath, and you will already behave smarter than 90% of people. Another shift is treating every uncomfortable conversation as information, not as a personal attack on you. When someone disagrees, you do not need to defend yourself. You can simply listen and consider it. If they are wrong, calm clarity will show it. If they are right, you grow from it. Either way, you win because your identity stops depending on always being correct in front of others. The deeper truth is that intelligence is mostly about how honestly you can see yourself today. Not how clever you sound, not how fast you talk, not how many facts you remember. It is your willingness to look inward without flinching that quietly separates sharp minds from dull ones. Most people will never do this work because it feels uncomfortable, slow, and strangely lonely sometimes. But the ones who do change the entire shape of their life within only a few years. You do not need to fix all 7 habits today, this week, or even this entire month. Pick one, just one. Watch it quietly for the next 7 days without judging yourself harshly anywhere. Awareness alone will start changing it because what you observe with honesty cannot stay the same. That is how real intelligence grows, not in classrooms, not in books, in small daily moments. So the next time you catch yourself reacting fast, arguing hard, or mocking something unfamiliar, pause. That pause is the doorway. Step through it, and a sharper version of you is already waiting. If this gave you something useful, stay close. There is more quiet psychology like this here. Your mind deserves it, and so does the calmer, clearer life that slowly grows from this awareness.